Hi, I'm Karl Taylor. Welcome to Karl Taylor Education Live. Tonight we have another we're always having great shows. That's all we do is great shows. Tonight we are doing this, not drinking them all. We are going to photograph clear liquids.
Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Use coupon code KARL to get a 10% discount.
We've had quite a few people say, well, how do you handle clear liquid bottles, transparent liquid bottles like this Absolute vodka? Now, let's talk about the treatment of the bottles. Quite often, vodka and gin you drink cold. To recreate that sense of feeling about that, we need to create that sort of condensation look on the bottle. Now you can see we've got lovely round droplets on that one at the moment, okay? Now on this other bottle, which I'm going to swap into position, the droplets aren't quite the same. On that one, the droplets are more flattened and they actually look more realistic. You can either varnish the bottle or not varnish the bottle, and that's the two results that you get. So it's really good at that under warm modeling lights or continuous lighting or whatever. They're not going to evaporate away, they're not going to run, they're not going to smudge or smear. They're set enough that they're not going to move. You know, I can shake the bottle, I can, you know, blow it, I can heat it. They're not going away. That's the main thing. When we deal with just water spray, you know, when you just use sprayed on water, it just trickles down the bottle, ends up on your surface, and it just makes a mess everywhere, and then it evaporates under the lights and then it leaves a stain. So working with real water spray is a big no-no for this type of photography. It's so clear, really good clarity on it. No sort of fogginess to it. Pour some into a little vaporizing spray bottle and then you simply apply it like this. So you just spray, there you go, and it sticks to the surface of the bottle. We're going to show you the setup for this. It's very simple. Here is a piece of frosted acrylic. There you go, so you can see that frosting effect. I'm going to stand it just at the back. Now, the main base surface for this is going to be polished metal. You can buy this at most hardware stores. The beauty of this, look at it. It is a mirror. Look, you can see our cameraman in it. Here it is. Can you see him? There he is. Many of you are going to ask, well, why don't you just use a mirror? And that's a good question, but the reason is the way a mirror works, a mirror is a coating on a piece of glass. And that means when you shoot low, you get a double image in the reflection, which you don't really want. It doesn't look very attractive. This, as polished metal, is a single surface, and you don't get a double image when shooting low. You just get this beautiful mirror-like reflection. You could shoot this, I'm shooting on a 100mm lens at the moment. You could shoot this on an 80mm lens, which will be equivalent on a 35mm full-frame camera. No problem at all, okay? You want to make the product look sort of powerful and imposing. You can pop it down, but get it right in the middle. So go towards you a tiny bit and drop it down there. We're going to need some back illumination to go through the bottle to give us the lovely clear liquid look, but also to give us the lovely refraction tones of some shaping and tapering to the bottle from the vignetted edges or the darker edges from out here. We're also going to need to get some light onto the label, onto the side of the bottle. Here's a tip for you. This stuff melts. Can you put it on low modeling lamp, please? This melts if you get too hot. So if you end up with your light needed to be that close, don't leave it like that for any length of time. Just turn the modeling lamp off so that you're not going to melt the thing, okay? What aperture should we shoot at? What should we go with?
F16.
F16 is a good place, I think, for a product shot like this. So let's go with F16. We're going to go at 100 ISO. 2/50th of a second, doesn't matter. The shutter speed doesn't matter. As long as you've got a shutter speed that cuts out the ambient light. Let's take a picture without Ashley there. Should be her doing this, but let's have a look. Right, is that better? That's not bad. But you see, yeah, you see, I can just see the corner of my background there. So we're slightly off shot. So I think we might go with the 150mm. So I'm going to increase the focal length, okay? So never forget about the fact that you can change, where's the lens hood? You can change lens, so we're going to go with a slightly longer focal length lens. Now, the benefit of, so it doesn't matter, yeah. The benefit, obviously, of the longer focal length lens is we're reducing our angle of view. So that will hopefully help get rid of this, alleviate the problem of what we're seeing in the back area as well. So 101 millimeter is what this lens would be equivalent to on a 35mm format camera. That's pretty good, isn't it? Now look at this, we've only got one light. We've only put one light, and it's a bare bulb light at that. One bare bulb light, and we already have got a reasonable result there. A reasonable result. Now I say reasonable because if you look at the glow, the vignette around the bottle is really, really nice. You can see that beautiful gradation of glow out here. You can see this lovely gradation in the bottle. Look at that. That is formed from the glow around the edge. So this sort of darkening out here and out here is because it's darkening out here and darkening out to the side. Let's zoom in and have a look at the detail on those lovely droplets. Oh my goodness! Look at that. That's just, look at that. Isn't that? It's just pure photographic silk. Don't you just love product photography? Look at those droplets. Wow. We're going to take 3 more tenths off of that and fire another shot, please, because I want to get that highlight in the bottle. Wait, before you shoot it, let's just zoom in on that bit. Let's just do another test shot. Let's look at the highlight in the center of the bottle. There, okay, it's much darker now. We shaved 3 tenths off. Now, if we look at the outer shot, we see the background area is much darker. You need to put some light around here as an additional light source that we can control independently from the other gradient. Isn't it amazing? Physics is just so amazing. And this thing will now light that outer area.
Steve's asking, is there a way we won't see the thin edge of the glossy sheet?
Thin edge of the glossy sheet. Ah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, of course. What would be the way we could disguise the horizon line, Ashley? How could we disguise the horizon line?
We would drop our...
That's right. We would change our aperture setting. So at the moment, we're shooting at f16, which has given us quite great depth of field. We could drop to f11 in a minute. We'll do that in a minute once we're all sorted out. That will soften the horizon line considerably. And off you go, Ash. Let's take another test shot. Now, this is how we control the outer gradient separately. So we introduce light into the outer gradient. There we've introduced way, way, way too much light, okay? So we're going to go down to power 2. We're going to take 1 stop off, and we're going to do another one. And we'll see the background. Now, there you go. So we can control the background gradient. So let's look at that's without it. And then that's with it. So we still got way too much light, okay? Because we want that lovely dark feeling. I'm going to take another stop off of this. Go for it. And now we're going to have a bit darker. Here we go. Okay, now we compare back a couple of shots. That's without it, and that's with it. So this is how you can independently control your gradient. Now, I'm looking at that hot spot around that vodka bottle, and I don't like it. It's too strong. I actually think we hit the nail on the head when we had the light in the original position. So we were here, look, we were just here for that last shot. So we're going to move it back a few inches to there, where it was. We're going to turn this off now, because we may not even need the softbox, but it was very important to show it to you so you understand ball outer gradient light, ball outer gradient, and controlling the two separately. We'll do a test. Let's have a look at that. And right, there we are. Now that's a nicer glow because it spreads out a little bit further. We're now going to add a side light in because I want to get a little bit of illumination on this thing from the side. And we're going to go in with a nice tall softbox. We'll take a test with it like that, yep, just to show. What power is it on?
It's on 2.
Well, let's just see if anything shows up on the side of the bottle. Look at this left side of the bottle. There, look at that stripe. See it there? Let's just let that sharpen up. Go up 2 more stops. Right, you're up 2 stops now.
Yeah.
Okay, look at that stripe on the side of the bottle. Ping, okay? Now that is because we've got a homogeneous light source. Let it sharpen up, it's coming in, there you go. That's a homogeneous light source. Now if you want that look, fine. It actually looks not too bad on this bottle because this bottle is a matte finish bottle. But on a glossy bottle, that could look quite nasty. As a matter of fact, it doesn't look that great now when we look at it like that. So we're not gonna use it like that, okay? We're going to diffuse it somewhat by putting a roll of scrim. I'm gonna pop this roll of diffusion material on here, roll it down, roll it down. You see the stripe of light we've got on that shot. And now we'll have a look at it on this one. And you see it's gone, okay? Or it's dramatically disappeared, yet we've still got lighting. Now, just turn off that softbox altogether a second, please, and then press the test button. Let's just go back to showing you what it would be without the softbox bit. So look at the side of the bottle. There, look, completely dark and black. Now we've put some light in it with the softbox. And look at those lovely droplets. Right, our next little trick, okay? We could make life really easy and we could bring in another softbox and do exactly the same on the other side, and then we'd be on 3 lights. But let's pretend we've only got 2, okay? What would we do if we've only got 2, Ash?
Add a mirror.
Add a mirror, that's right. We're going to add a mirror, but we're going to use this. This is exactly the same material as the base surface, and Ashley's going to hold it here for me, right in tight there, and that's going to bounce the scrim light into the other side of the bottle. Let's have a look what it does. Boom! Look at that. Amazing. We've got a 2-light setup. Let's swap these out, please, Ash, and we'll do a close-up on the droplets. As a matter of fact, we'll zoom in on the shot now in the same area. Ashley's so pinpoint precision, she's going to get that in exactly the same place. Now, let's look at the droplets. All right, here we go. Here we go. We're going to take a test shot. And boom, look at the droplets. This is what we're focused on now. Now, look at the difference in the droplets here. Condensation droplets. Right, now those droplets are probably more realistic to how condensation actually looks, more like water droplets. Now remember, those aren't water droplets, they are set solid. They will set like that and they won't move. If we jump back to the previous shot, you see these ones look more perfect. But realistically, which ones actually look the best? Well, that's open to interpretation, isn't it? It depends. You know, maybe those look a bit more refined, but maybe they're not natural. Maybe that's more natural. But you've got a choice, haven't you? Because at the start of the show, we showed you how to create both types of droplets. Right, I'm looking at that shot and I'm thinking, we spoke about the horizon line, didn't we? Someone wanted to know about making it look less visible. So we're going to open up the aperture by a couple of stops, but we're going to need a neutral density filter to overcome the lighting issues. Right, this takes 2 stops out, so I don't have to change the lighting power. I can just change the aperture. And here we go, Ben. F16, dropping it down to F8. 2 stops opening up. Ashley's holding the filter dead flat against the front of that thing. We're going to do another test shot, and now we'll get the same exposure. There you go, slightly different. It's perfectly neutral, no change in the colour, but look at the lovely softening of our horizon line from that to that. Okay, can all see that? Let's check the bottle. Is the bottle sharp enough for F8? Well, it's not bad. You know, it falls off a little bit. If we look at the back edge here, at F16, it's sharp on the back edge and the front edge of the bottle. At F8, it falls off a bit on the back edge, but the label is still sharp. So actually it's still acceptable, isn't it? It looks a little bit underexposed. So we're still only using 2 lights. We'll just take the global power on the 2 lights up. I'm going to go up 3/10 in total. And then we've got another problem to fix. There we go, let's do that. Right, so that exposure is better. Can anyone guess what the problem is that I'd like to fix?
Brian's asking, is it the cap that you want to change, to fix?
That's a good point. It could be the cap. That would be based on where the reflector is held, but no, it's not. What it is that this is meant to be a lovely, beautiful, clear, fresh bottle of drinkable liquid, but the bottom of the bottle has got this big, horrible grey blob in it, okay? And it doesn't look very attractive to me. And if we look at it, what is it? Well, this is what it is. It's like that on most bottles, where it's the curve of the thick glass bending up on the inside. Okay, You've got that curved bit rising up on the inside, and that thicker glass is causing us a problem. Right, here we go. Look at the bottom of the bottle. Ping, there you go. Right, so that's what we're doing. We're going to change that out. We'll change it out to a bottle that does need a label. We'll just take a test shot and see what happens. I'm just going to see, the bottle's not the same size, different shape, different quality, everything's different about it. Now, lighting wise, not too bad. Right, so we'll test it there in that position. Let's just see. So we've added a bit of light in the bottom of the bottle on this one. And if we jump back a couple of shots to before we did that, there, look how much darker it was down the bottom. Now, it's not as bad on this bottle as it was on the other one, but you can see there is a way of overcoming the problem in the bottom of the bottle. What we need to deal with here, though, is more the label at the front. Now, this is where we have to get more specific. I'm going to aim that patch of light at that label and control the lighting on the label very specifically with this. Right, look at that label. So I'm going to bring the blades in. There you can see the blade coming in on that side. So I'm getting that label roughly illuminated. Right, so the label is now well illuminated compared to if we jump back to when we first put it in there, it was like that, you see? Right, I think we're pretty much there with this demo. We've covered a couple of different liquids and shown you how to change the size of the ball at the back, how to independently control the outer vignetted areas by adding a softbox at the back as well, different camera heights, different depth of fields, different types of condensation look, flatter, more natural look, or more perfect rounded droplets. Type of base surface has to be polished metal rather than a mirror. Mirror would give you a double image. Type of background, 5mm frosted acrylic. And then we've just looked at either lighting in the back of the bottle to lift the, what's now we know is called the punt, light that up a little bit more, and how to potentially light the labels at the front of the bottle. Now we've done all that in an hour and a half. Normally I'd spend much more time on a bottle shot if we were going to really fine tune it. Definitely would have in another softbox on the other side with another scrim. You can see though we were able to do it with one scrim with one softbox and using the mirror.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Karl to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Right, we're all good. Thank you very much for tuning in. This was Karl Taylor Education Live. Lots of other great live shows coming up. Check out the live show listings to see what we've got. And if you've missed any of the previous live shows, then check the replays and catch up on what you've missed. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time.